Hi, this is Marcia, and today we're going to be talking about how to differentiate your small group instruction in the easiest way possible by using your map data. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And that's right, we're going to be talking about how to differentiate instruction in the easiest way possible by changing one word. And I'm also going to be giving you a great online resource that you're going to be able to use to help you with the lesson planning. So it's going to be a little bit heavy because you're going to have to think about how to set up your groups. But by the end, you're going to have a game plan for the next time that you set up small group instruction. Let's go. All right, what you're going to see that I'm going to do is I am going to fill out my planning document. And yes, I have my teachers printed out so that way it's sitting right beside them. There's also an online version if your team would rather type it out. But what I do is I print it out and I get them set up by looking at the different elements. So let me go over here and I'm going to jump to the side. I'm going to walk you through what we're looking for. One, we're looking for the standard. We're looking for what data point the teachers are going to be using, and I'll explain that when we get going. We're talking about what day they're going to set up their small group and what is the outcome. What do you want your students to do when they leave your small group? All right, so that's just the beginning part. Now, the next part is I'm actually going to list out the names of my students. And the reason why I'm going to list out the names of my students is because when I call them back to my small group, I'm going to know exactly who I am going to be working with, small groups. Then we're going to look at like the focus verb, and that will make sense in a second. The lesson idea, this is where I'm going to showcase an AI tool to help you with that, but I'm going to give you some ideas to go along with it. We're going to talk about how much time you're going to spend in the small groups, and we're also going to talk about how much time you're going to be talking inside the small groups. All right, so that's kind of our game plan. I'm going to walk you through this as far as like what I would do with my teachers inside my planning. So the very first thing is I actually go through and have my team set up and write out their standard. After they get their standard done, I go and grab a yellow highlighter so that they know that they have to be able to apply and identify. And then the keywords that we're looking for is we're looking for acute, right, and obtuse triangles. And that's really important. So when the teachers actually write it out, they get the understanding of what the standard is actually looking for. Yes, we could copy and paste it and put it right in there, but there's something powerful about writing it out. Like, okay, identify acute, right, and obtuse triangles. I even make sure my team always includes the standard number because as we're going through, we can go and find those key elements that go along with that standard. Next, what I do is I talk about what data points. For this one, we actually are going to be setting up an exit ticket. So I'm going to be doing this on the 12th of February. So that means on the 11th, I am going to go in and I'm going to be doing an exit ticket. All right. So my exit ticket is going to really be helping me to get that point. So I'm going to do an exit ticket to give me the information for the groups, but I'm also going to be using my map data. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at my map data. And my map data is going to look like this, where I'm going to put my student into, sorry, I got a lot of papers over here, put them into groups based on the different colors. And I'm looking at geometry. So I'm going to be using an exit ticket, but I'm going to be ahead of the game and I'm going to start to look to see who is going to be in this area for geometry. All right. I transfer those names down to the same categories. So you can see I have my red group, I have my red group, I have my yellow group, I have my green group. And again, that aligns to my class breakdown by instructional area. I'm also going to be using that exit ticket, but I want to be ahead of the game, so I'm going to just get my kids into the groups. One more time, just want to let you know that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at a focus verb. So here are my different groups, and these are students who are scoring below 50%, 50 to 70, 70 to 90, and 100% or more. What I like to do with my teams is I like to give them a focus verb. And a focus verb is something to focus in on to help them to continue to grow each individual student. The first thing that I look at is I look at my blue group. When I'm planning, I'm going to look at my blue, my high flyers that probably already can identify obtuse, right, and acute triangles. So I'm going to pick one of these verbs that I'm going to have them do. So one of them that I'm going to have them do is maybe I'm going to have them design. And I'm going to have them design a shape or something to go along with it. So I like that verb design. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write design. Everything that they're going to do inside that small group is going to be focusing on designing something that goes with obtuse, acute, and right triangles. Now, let's jump down and look at the red category. If I'm looking at my struggling students, the ones that I know are probably going to need help, more help with identifying those different shapes, one of them that I might do is I might do a sorting activity. So I'm going to focus for them is they're going to sort. Of course, while they're sorting, it's going to be going up to my teak, which is also going to be identifying. But they're going to do a sort with me. Where these guys are going to be designing. Now, I'm going to look at my yellow and orange columns for my next verb. My next verb that I'm going to look at for these guys would be like, I like the word sketch, but let's compare and contrast. So I'm going to pick compare. So we're going to just do a quick little activity on compare with those different triangles. I'm not changing my lesson. My lesson's staying the same. But when they're coming back, we're going to really focus in on comparing to help them to identify the different triangles. All right, my green. I'm going to go into my green column, and I'm going to look over here, and I'm going to, after looking at all of these, let's go into justify. So with my green group, the ones that are on level, I'm going to have them justify what makes up a right triangle, or acute, a right or obtuse triangle, while they're still identifying those different triangles. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope you're shaking your head right now. So my focus verbs, and again, if you like these focus verbs that I have it on our website. You can go grab that inside of our store, and I just color coordinated it to go along with that map data. Okay. We're going to come up to lesson plans next, but now I'm going to think about how much time I need to spend with each one of these teams. My design activity, what I'm going to have my students do is I'm probably going to go in and I'm just going to give them a bunch of triangles, or I'm going to give them a ruler and a protractor, and I'm going to say, I want you to design an image. And while they're designing their image, they're going to have to classify and identify right triangles, obtuse triangles, and acute triangles. So they're just going to basically do a little piece of artwork, math artwork. So this is going to put math artwork. How I'm going to set up my small group is they're going to come back to me and I'm going to work with them for about 4 to 5 minutes max. Because when I am done with them in my small group, I'm going to say, continue to work on your math artwork. I'm going to do quickly, like a quick little overview of the acute, obtuse, and right triangles. But I'm going to spend, out of this 4 to 5 minutes, about 1 minute talking. I want the students to do the majority of the talking with me. Can they explain it? Hey, can you guys tell me what an obtuse triangle looks like? Can you show me what a right triangle looks like? Okay, we're going to be using the rulers. We're going to be making artwork. And then I'm going to let them ask me questions to go along with it. All right? Down here, I'm going to be doing a sorting activity. So I'm going to have a bunch of images. And I'm going to also have an anchor chart. And then inside of my anchor chart, I'm going to go and have the different images based along the acute, right, and obtuse triangles. When they come back to me, I am going to think about working with them for about, I'm going to guess about 12 minutes, because it's going to take me some time to make sure that they can identify those different triangles. All right, so, but my talking time is going to be about 7 minutes. I still want the students to be able to sort. I still want them to share out what they're seeing. I want them to identify. So my talking time might be a little bit more just because I need to make sure that the students understand that concept. Same thing, this is going to be compared, so I might be doing images, and I'm also going to have them go in and I'm going to maybe have them start to identify the different ones. So maybe I'm going to add in that sort with the images, but then to compare, I'm going to really think about doing some type of a Venn diagram or sorting activity. Where would you see them? So there's going to be a lot of images, about 8 to 10 minutes. And my teacher talk time is going to be about 5 minutes. And these guys had to justify. So I'm going to give them a shape, and they had to justify as to which one is it, by why, how do you know? They might be doing some measuring, okay? So this one is going to be about, I'd say about 8 to 10 minutes as well. And they're going to be doing the justification piece of it. So I'm going to be about 4 minutes, where I'm just going to go over the different shapes. We got our game plan. We got our map data. We put our students in categories. We have our focus verb. But I want to showcase one more thing to you. The website that I'm using is called EduAid. And inside of EduAid, I'm going to be able to go in and find those math lessons and those resources. So again, I'm going to pick math 4th grade. I'm going to put in my TEK 4.6C, TEKS, and I'm going to be able to come up and get some enhancement ideas for my lesson. But we'll play around with this website. I have another video on our YouTube channel walking you through this, but what I want you to see is a question base. To help me to really enhance those verbs, I actually have over here taxonomy scaffolding, and I can go in and get more ideas of how to get to knowledge base to application within that TEKS. It gives me some ideas. So I just want to showcase eduaid.ai as a really good website that aligns to our verbs and gives you what you could ask inside of those small groups. So you spend less time talking and it still aligns to your TEKS. All right, now we have a game plan. We have our plan for our differentiation, we have our focus verbs, and we have a website that's going to help us with coming up with differentiated small groups. We are offering all kinds of workshops this spring, summer, or fall that all relate to how to use data to differentiate your instruction. So feel free to contact us and we'll get you scheduled. Thanks, guys.